In front of us here is the 2025 Toyota 4Runner Hybrid Trailhunter. This is the top model when it comes to customizations, when it comes to specifications, off-roading capability, and more. And in this video, I'm going to take it for a test drive because I've already been driving this Toyota 4Runner Trailhunter now for about a week, and I'm absolutely shocked and surprised with how well it drives, handles, and feels in the city daily driving, when this is actually made to be an off-roading machine, which it definitely is. But if you don't already know, I used to drive Toyota vehicles, for example, like the Toyota RAV4, like the Toyota Grand Highlander, and always in hybrid. And I've got to say, I don't notice much of a comfort change or a overall change in the way I feel driving this 4Runner off-roader hybrid compared to those other models I just mentioned. I'm very taken away. Now, if you don't believe me, this thing is absolutely built and designed to do some heavy-duty off-roading, all the way from the Trailhunter specific suspension like the Old Man Emu suspension to these 18-inch off-roading style bronze alloy wheels wrapped in these super heavy-duty all-terrain tires, and to the interior and drivability standpoint, you've got crawl control, downhill assist control, you've got 3 different driving modes like sport, normal, and eco. You also have a stabilizer disconnect mechanism with an option to lock the rear differential. Yes, from an under-the-hood perspective, the Toyota 4Runner has gone from a V8 to a V6 to a now 2.4-liter 4-cylinder turbo. But before you put on any hate, I'll explain why later on in this video. But this powertrain puts out 326 horsepower, and it also delivers 465 pound-foot of torque. And due to the electric components of the hybrid system, you can feel pretty much all that power and responsiveness instantly. It can also tow an impressive 5,800 pounds, and it also has a payload capacity right around 1,100 pounds. One thing I'm a little bit surprised about is there's no energy flow monitor option for this hybrid powertrain 4Runner, which usually what it is, it's basically like a breakdown of what's happening with your hybrid powertrain system in terms of regenerative braking, in terms of using the engine, using the electric motor. I think Toyota has done away with that, because no matter where I toggle through here, I'm not able to see anything pertaining to an energy flow monitor. It looks like this here, in case you were wondering. But yeah, no option for that, but that's okay. You do have this lovely super large multi-information display system here that you can customize and toggle through, you know, what you want to see on what side of the vehicle, whether it's your drivetrain, whether it's your angle or approach, your fuel consumption, which right now I'm about 130 kilometers in. So like I said, it's just a couple of days worth of driving, and I'm averaging around 18 liters per 100 kilometers, mainly city. That's combined city and highway, but I'm not really doing any highway. And then just over here, I have the iForce Turbo Boost gauge showing me that, but definitely enough in terms of features and in terms of controls and view. Okay, keep in mind, this interior features active noise control, which is basically a frequency that gets sent out through the interior speakers that cancels out any exterior noise from coming in. So it's very, very quiet. It also has acoustic glass. So in terms of road noise or exterior noise, unless you got the windows down, it's dead silent in here. And in terms of power, like I said, it's got 326 horsepower and 465 pound-foot of torque, and you feel all of that instantly due to the electric motors and responsiveness of the iForce Max powertrain system. But in terms of the overall comfort of the ride here, it handles the bumps, turning, cornering, cracks in the roads very well and very comfortable. Almost reminds me of the driving style of my Toyota Grand Highlander Hybrid, which you would not expect these two SUVs to drive anything like each other, but I am completely surprised and very pleased. Yes, I almost forgot about that active noise control and acoustic glass that comes on this 4Runner. If you want to hear the amazing turbo sound that comes out of that high mount air intake, then you're gonna have to crack that passenger side window open just a little bit. Take a listen to this. All right, let's start this drive here. We're gonna get a few kilometers on in the city, and I'm going to actually drive it right now in normal mode just to see where we're at in terms of the responsiveness, in terms of the overall feel. I'm gonna try to hit a couple of speed bumps so you guys can see the overall reaction and how I'm pleased with this driving style of this very mean off-roading hybrid SUV here. Amazing responsiveness on acceleration. You actually have to keep your eye on the speedometer because you can hit 50, 60 kilometers an hour very easy and effortlessly. Super smooth, very light steering, very responsive. I'll try to take a relatively sharp corner here just to see how the truck responds. I mean, you know, one would think that this is really only an SUV that you get because you do a lot of camping, overlanding, off-roading, whatever it is. But this can definitely make a fantastic daily driver because it drives like any other hybrid all-wheel drive SUV. I like this road is quite bumpy and I'm very stable. There's not a lot of roll or any roll that I can kind of feel or notice as I'm driving this 4Runner Trailhunter. All right, gonna try to pick up some speed here. Get this 4Runner up to 80 kilometers or so an hour. And I'm not sure what the 0 to 60 speed is here on this 4Runner. I'm not sure what it's rated at, but it is fast. That 326 horsepower and that 465 torque is felt throughout the entire power band, in my opinion. There's no lag. And I know there's a lot of controversy over, you know, the longevity performance-wise on the 4-cylinder, but I don't see any issues. I don't see any complaints. And 4-cylinder or downsizing is the way of the future due to, you know, the carbon footprint and emissions controls that these manufacturers are under. So having a 4-cylinder is inevitable, and having it still perform horsepower wise, torque wise, towing wise, this thing can tow almost 6,000 pounds. It's really nice to see that. And like I said, this to me feels exactly like any hybrid SUV from Toyota. In fact, better, because it's the iForce Max and you've got over 300 horsepower and almost 500 pound-foot of torque, and it comes in handy during your city and daily commute, and it's very comfortable. Okay, so I've got a couple of speed bumps ahead of me, and I'm not gonna really slow down or try to maneuver over these speed bumps, just so I can see what the reaction is like and what the comfort level of myself being the driver is like in this off-roading 4Runner Trailhunter. I'm driving it right now in sport mode. I'm just gonna put it to normal mode right now, and let's see what and how this off-roading SUV reacts to these speed bumps. So, one speed bump. Like, you almost don't feel that you went over a speed bump. I was doing, like, not fast, obviously, maybe 25 kilometers an hour or less. And yeah, the speed bumps, you know, these tires just, here's another one. I mean, the tires and the suspension just chew up the reaction of these speed bumps. Very good to any kind of road condition, driving condition, speed bump, pothole, whatever it is. You stay relatively very comfortable. Maybe 0.5 of a second of any kind of discomfort over these speed bumps on the Trailhunter Toyota 4Runner. Really cool. And keep in mind, if you're looking for the 4Runner Trailhunter, but you're a little bit skeptical because you think the ride's not going to be ideal, comfortable, you think it might be too rough around the edges or around your daily commute when you're not off-roading, you are absolutely incorrect. This is a very comfortable off-roading daily driver of an SUV, which it's amazing because it's very low key, in my opinion, a daily driver. I mean, when you buy this, you only think of using it for off-roading capabilities, but you can definitely comfortably, easily use this in your day-to-day use.